Hey everyone, Say What with James and Keisha, and we are back with our July movie reviews. This movie review is going to be for the movies
A Quiet Place, the Bikeriders, Longlegs, Twisters, and Deadpool and Wolverine.
So we are going to start it off with A Quiet Place Day One, but make sure that if you like movie reviews that you like the video and subscribe to our channel. Let us know what you thought about the movies. And this is a spoiler alert because we're going to do a deep dive in the movies. So if you haven't seen these movies, come check out this review after you watch them.
And we also disagrees on which movies we thought were the best this month, once again.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start off with A Quiet Place Day One. And the only thing that I want to start off by saying is I do not like when movies do this. When they act like they're going back to the beginning of something that never really existed until they wanted to make a prequel? This is number 3. So that's my take on it. But hey, anyway, that's just me. But this story is going to revolve around the beginning of the alien invasion that brought silence to the world. It's going to revolve around Sam, played by
Lupita Nyong'o,
and her journey in New York City during those first few terrifying moments. And it gave us so much context for the whole franchise. Sam's character was trying to navigate the chaos of New York City when the alien invasion began. And it started off for me with them being inside the rehabilitation center.
She had cancer.
And to me, she had, and maybe this is probably because of what she was going through, kind of a negative attitude.
Smart mouth. They was all sitting around
Doing the group therapy.
And they asked her to say what she was thinking, and she really dogged out all the older people in there.
Yeah, every other one of the patients that was in the group therapy session with her. But because of what she was going through, it was I guess it would be very hard, especially if you're going through that in the middle of an alien invasion.
Yeah, it started out, they was gonna have a field trip. They supposed to be going to, the guy convinced her to go because they said they're gonna have pizza. And she wanted to go to this particular pizza place in the city. And but first they went to some puppet show. It was a puppet show, and she had a cat named Frodo and something. So she went to the store to get Frodo something, and that's when she came back out of the store, the guy, I forget his name, who took him on the field trip, he was telling them that they had to get back to the place because something was going on in
Someone
the city.
had made a phone call to him, and he was telling her, like, yeah, I'm your friend, I'm looking, and she was like, you're not my friend, you're a nurse. And it was, she really wanted to go to that particular pizza place, but because of the immediate danger that this alien invasion was imposing.
But at that point, they didn't know it was alien.
Yeah, but they were getting attacked. They knew that it was something happening. They weren't sure what was going on. So she had a bit of an attitude. So they all get on the bus, and that's when the bus basically gets destroyed.
And the aliens start dropping in the after the blast. It looked like a blast, and so they have to they hiding. They don't know at the time that you got to be quiet. So they get inside this building, and she runs into my man
Eric.
Not Eric. And she runs the guy, the Digimon. She's in the building. She's making noise. She covers her mouth. As she comes to, and telling her she needs to be quiet. Be quiet, as you can hear the aliens outside the building. But he takes her back further inside the building, and then she sees the guy who the driver, not the driver, but the guy,
the nurse,
yeah. And she was happy to see him. And but they're being quiet. He basically let them know you can't say nothing. But Frado, the cat, goes into another section of the building, and did he hit the bell? Was that when he hit the bell? He hit a bell, and the aliens react on sound, as you know from the other two. And she's going back there looking for him, and the guy, the nurse, he goes in there also. And they do get Frado. They get Frado, but a noise, the generator comes on, and the nurse runs to try and cut it off. But by the time he cut it off, it was too late, and the aliens got it.
Yes. So then we just have to speed it up just a little bit, and basically she runs into a character, Eric.
Well, basically she said that she's leaving. She was still leave the building. She's still going to that pizza place. So she leaves out the building, her and the cat. And that's when she runs into
Eric, played by Joseph Quinn, and he's the unlikely ally that she teams up with, and they try to survive this invasion. And I do like how their bond formed naturally, despite the craziness around them. And she ends up helping him because he has anxiety, and he's freaking out. And when the aliens come around, he's making all kinds of noises, and she's reminding him, you have to be quiet. And it was one point where she had ran into the children, and they were outside,
inside
the water fountain, because the aliens couldn't hear
they can't hear
when the water is around. And so the people started walking toward, all the people started gathering and walking toward.
They announced it. The military was announcing, get to the dock, and they have boats for them if you get there. Problem is, when you got herds of people moving down the streets, then they like sitting ducks for the aliens. They commence to just killing all of them.
Yeah, so it was just definitely something different, but Sam and Eric team up, and basically they end up going to that pizza place that she wanted to go to. She was very sick, so at one point in the movie he had to take off. Wasn't that when they were
get her some medication?
Get the medicine, and there's Frodo, the cat, runs off, and he's at the location where all the aliens are doing something. He had no business being there, and he almost got both of them
like a queen alien
taken out, but somehow they survived. He
goes up there to try and save Frodo, and then ran up on some beam, and he goes and gets him down, and they get back, and he brought her back without. That was afterward. He got the medicine that time. Next time he went out on his own, he brought her back some pizza. That's once they got to the place. They got to the place.
No, they walked to the place to get the pizza where she was trying to get to, and of course there was no pizza. There's no electricity. There's no people. But he did find some pizza, and I guess they took it literally. If you can bless stuff in it, not hurt you, because I swear that pizza probably was old, mildewed, fungus. They must have blessed it. They ate it, and
the reason she wanted to get there so bad because that's where her dad used to play.
Yeah, it made her feel she was trying to feel like some form of normalcy for that moment, even in the midst of that madness. And It made her more than just a survivor. It made her someone who was still trying to live her life. And the creatures were terrifying.
Yeah. And at that point, they knew they had to try and get to the dock. And I think she knew that she wasn't gonna make it. So they was out and she started bamming on cars and
when they went to the dock. But I do want to say this. They did say, I heard somebody say that the cat was a great addition. Well, all I know is I love Coco. She's a sweet dog. Yes, she is. But in the midst of an alien invasion, I doubt if she can be quiet. And if it's me or Coco, you're gonna have to go. Because that was the quietest cat I ever saw. And you know they say she's have 9 lives. But she was very, very, that was a quiet
every time
cat.
something broke out, the cat dog.
The cat never said anything.
Yeah, the cat would get loose.
And even at the end, the dock scene, when she was breaking out a car window so that he could take the cat and escape, the cat was still being quiet.
Yeah.
So at the end, they were able to, she gave her life, sacrificed herself, so he and the cat could get on the ferry.
Yeah.
But it definitely reminded me of those heart-pounding moments from the first 2 films. But being in New York City, the city that never sleeps during the initial invasion.
Trying to be quiet.
Right. And when she, did that for him, that's truly love. So right now, we have to rank this movie. So what do you rank The Quiet Place? Now we do our rankings. We saw 5 movies this month. So we rank them 1 out of 5. And
where you got that?
I have The Quiet Place as number 4. It was a great movie, even though I'm not the one for movies. Hey, let's go make some extra money and write something that didn't really happen. I felt like Lupita did a great job in the movie, especially not being able to talk. She did make me feel like she was really someone that had a terminal illness.
He was a really good actor.
And the guy, he was a great actor as well.
And for me,
and that cat.
For me, I think July was one of the better months for the movies we went to go see. But I'll probably put I'm probably gonna put Quiet Place as, I think it might have been it was close between that and Bikeriders. I'm gonna go. I'll put Quiet Place 4 for me. Also.
Okay, so we both have a Quiet Place number 4.
All but let me say this: all but one movie in July. The one movie we're gonna talk about might have been the worst movie I saw, maybe ever.
Okay, so next up we have The Bikeriders. And this one is going to take us back to the 1960s, right to the heart of the motorcycle club called the Vandals. It's got everything: romance, loyalty, a whole lot of tension. And so you've got Benny, played by Austin Butler, amazing actor, who gets caught between his love for Kathy, played by Joni Comer. She did an outstanding job as well. And his loyalties to the Vandals, led by Tom Hardy's character, Johnny. And of course, even though we heard he could be hard to work with, he did a great job in this movie. So first and foremost, spoiler alert, because we're going to do more than a review. We're going to talk about the movie, what we thought about it, what made it great, what they could have worked on. For me, I thought it was a great movie. Had a lot of language in it. Thought that we could have possibly did without some of that, but it was still a great movie. I never heard of the Vandals. Didn't actually want to go see the movie. Didn't think I was going to like it, but when I saw that Austin Butler was in it, I was like, hey, this dude really played that role in Elvis, so let's go check this out.
Yeah, Tom Hardy always.
Now, this movie captures the perfect balance of rebellion and personal conflicts that come with loyalty and love. Now, did you feel like Kathy was a strong-willed character and she fell for Benny hard? But the funny thing is that when it started out, she's telling the movie, and she has the most annoying voice. I'm not even going to lie.
Her voice was annoying.
Annoying. And she's talking about how her friend tells her, again, spoiler alert, don't listen to this if you haven't seen the movie. Her friend tells her to come because she needs, what, $20?
Yeah.
To this biker club, and she's in there, and these bikers, they are rude, they would have had all kind of sexual harassment lawsuits. Let it be today. They doing all kinds of just rude things that they have no business doing, and then Benny just catches her eye, and it's like love at first sight.
She was ready to go at first. She was talking about that because the guy, what was they came over there.
I can't remember.
Cockroach comes over there and starts talking to her, and she told her, why you, who named himself Cockroach? That's got to be one of the stupidest names I ever heard. But she sees Benny over there at the pool table, and then she wanted to stick around.
Right, and she saw Benny, and it was over. And now, when she saw Benny, and he saw her, and Johnny came over to talk to her, Tom Hardy, and he's like, I'm not gonna let anybody hurt you and this and that. And she's like, okay. She has a smart mouth. She has a very, very smart mouth. And she's like, okay. And she ends up saying that she's gonna, I don't even know, she left.
No, you remember Benny came over to the table and just stared at her. And she was like, So they leave. She's going out. She leaves out. Well, he left out because they wasn't saying nothing. He was just staring at her. She leaves out, and as she goes out, she has handprints all on her pants. That's what she
her white Levi's.
White Levi pants, because everybody was slapping on the butt. And Benny's cranking up his motorcycle, and he tells her he rides over there, tells her to get over there. She hops on the back. Benny takes her home, but she got a boyfriend sitting in the house.
Well, no, he doesn't. No, don't get it twisted. He didn't take her right home. She didn't get home till like, I don't know what time the next day, like 5 o'clock the next day, whatever time it was time for her boyfriend to go to work.
It was in the morning. He took her home that night.
No.
He stayed out there.
No. When he took her home, they hung out. They went to cause they live different lives than we live. So when he took her home, it was late. And her boyfriend, he was not happy. Because she did have a boyfriend at the time, but Benny caught her eye.
Because Benny pulls up on a motorcycle, he drops off, and then he rides around right down the street, turns around, parks his bike directly in front of their house, gets off the bike, and lights up a cigarette and just stares at her.
And the boyfriend was out there because he was about to get ready for work.
So the boyfriend goes in there and talks about, you tell him, she told, I don't know her. I'm not going to tell him. He's crazy. He's crazy.
And she's like, I'm not ever going out with those guys again.
Yeah.
And so then the boyfriend leaves for work. Benny's out there, and he just positions himself out there for the rest of the
whole day.
Yeah. And so she comes out, and she's talking to him, and she's like,
"You're crazy. What are you doing?
You
I got my you're making my neighbors." And she goes back. She told you better leave out here.
My boyfriend will be home soon, and he's not gonna be happy. And so the boyfriend ends up coming home, and he goes in the house. Benny's still standing outside. He's not going nowhere.
I told you to leave. She told he won't leave.
The boyfriend goes and gets all his stuff and moves out. And so then she comes out and talks to Benny, and she hops on the bike and they hang out.
Yeah. And 2 weeks later, they got what?
Did they get married? They got married,
yeah. 2 weeks later.
So, but it's just crazy. But their relationship is strained because of the violence surrounding the club. But Jodie did bring a lot of strength to the role. But Kathy is not your typical love interest. She's tough. She knows what she wants. But it's hard to get pulled between her love of Benny, realizing that his life with the Vandals is pulling him far away from her. But it was powerful. But there's an underlying tension throughout the movie that makes you wonder, can they survive this? And there was also a gentleman that was filming. When it started out, we neglected to say that it was a young film student who was recording. It was like a documentary film, and he was recording the story of the Vandals.
And Benny was hothead sometimes. He was speeding through the city and all that, and got flying through, running through red lights and cops. He kept getting in trouble.
But why are you on a high speed chase trying to outrun the cops, and then you run out of
He
gas.
outran them, but he just forgot to get some gas in the tank.
You run out of gas. So, and then he was driving. He didn't even have a license. But see, the thing is that Benny, his journey hits home too, because he wanted to be accepted. He wanted to be a part of something bigger. But as the Vandals grow in power, unfortunately, they become more violent. And Benny's forced to make some tough decisions.
He start letting other people get in the gang, the biker gang.
Yeah.
And
but that's what makes the movie so intense.
The thing was, Johnny made it where he said that if you any time you disagree with him, you call him out. Johnny being Tom Hardy, and the one guy called Johnny out.
Because he wanted to expand the Vandals.
The only thing about that is, when you call him out, then Johnny said you gotta fight over it. And when you fight, you with fists
or knives.
And so Johnny and the big guy fight. And as what's name was telling me, when Johnny fight, he fight. He normally beat all the guys, but Johnny didn't fight fair. Big Boy was giving Johnny was giving it to him, but Big Boy was giving it to Johnny. And Johnny, he was choking Johnny out. Johnny broke his finger, just twisted his fingers up. And asked him, "Are we done?" And the dude said, "Yeah, we done." And then he tell him, "Well, you tell your friend that he can be a part of the gang." And his homeboy asked him, "Well, Johnny, why did you go through all that? Why don't you just say
you was gonna let him join?"
He said, "Because I don't want nobody else to have an idea. If they have an idea, I give all the ideas."
Yeah, and you sound just like I'm saying it too.
Yeah.
And but Benny's loyalty to the club is tested in every way, and Johnny, oh man, Tom Hardy nailed it as the club's leader. You could really feel the weight of the decisions and pressures mounted on him. And Johnny his character was so complex. He was not just the leader of the Vandals. He was almost like a symbol of the rebellious time in America when everything was changing. He sees the club spiraling out of control, but it's too late.
Johnny was getting older. He basically wanted Benny to take over. But Benny was not the type. Benny told him, "I'm not the type of guy to take over.
I'm not even the type of guy that pays dues."
Yeah. But the problem was, just like any other gang, it started out just a regular biker gang. But as people started joining, these young guys wanted to get in. And you know how that goes. When the young guys got in, they brought in the drugs, they brought in the guns, they got real wild, and it cost Johnny.
And the thing about it too is that I liked it because they had a special appearance by Daryl Dixon.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
He came from California.
He's from Cali.
And when he pulled up out there, he was looking for the guy, and he was like, "You left without turning in your colors," or something like that. And the guy had got scared. Kyle, I think his name was. And he was like, "I'm just joking. I just came to hang with y'all for a while." And it was wild. It really was. I do like Daryl Dixon from everybody knows The Walking Dead. But it was, I think the turning point in the movie was when Benny was in the club, and he was in a bar. He was at a bar, and they told him we don't wear colors in here.
That was actually when he first came on, you know.
Yeah, but this didn't happen right then. Yeah. But it's where the beginning scene. They said we don't wear colors in here, but Benny didn't take his colors off for anybody, so he had to fight. Now most of the other guys, they wouldn't wear their colors all around. This is Kathy talking. They were punks, to let her really say it. But Benny didn't care, and he was alone. Now they would wear their colors when they were in the group, but by themselves, no. And these guys really whooped him, but he got one of them. I think he cut him. And then Johnny went back to the biker bar, and he was like, "Hey, it was a young kid in here that got beat up. I want you to write down who did it
and
their address, and I'll let you leave." And the guy was like, but this is my bar. And he said, "Yeah, I'll let you leave." And so they burnt the guy's bar down, And I guess the other, because at the fight, Benny almost lost his leg.
Yeah.
And the guys, I know they got dealt with, those two guys that beat him up, and they burnt old dude's bar down. And the police and the fire department, everybody was just
stood there and watched while he was there, and his homeboy was like, "Hey, I think we need to leave." He said about, he looks around. He's like,
"No, we don't. No, we don't."
Let's go to us.
Yeah. And then it was also sad how one of the members of the crew had gotten killed, and they went to pay their respects at his funeral, and his mom and dad, basically, I think the mom spit in Johnny's face, and they
didn't like.
Yeah, but
being on the bike again.
Yeah, but that was something else. And then the young guy that was
there was a young guy that wanted to join.
He wanted to join, but
and, Johnny was like, "Okay, I'll let you join, but
only you,
not your friends." And he basically was saying, "Okay, well, forget him." Come in.
And he said, "You're not loyal for that."
He said, "Get out of here, and
so,
don't you ever come around here again." So he tried to stick Johnny.
Yeah.
And Johnny worked him real quick and told him don't never come around. Yeah. But what happened in the end?
Well, hold on one second. Yeah, because that guy actually had a troubled upbringing. He had actually, I guess he witnessed his father beating his mom, and then he beat his father, and then the mom tried to get him. But when he gave her one look, she was scared of him as well. So that young boy had issues too, but I think he wanted to be accepted. But he was a hard rock. But the setting of this story, the time was in the country was rebellion, shifting culture, growing unrest in America, and you could feel the tension in every scene. The cinematography really captured the gritty, raw atmosphere. And it made me feel like I was right there with them. I mean, I never really thought about bike riders or bikers, period. But this was a really good movie. I really have to give it to him, but I'm going to let you go ahead and close out.
Yeah, well, it ended up closing out because the same young guy.
Well, wait. We did forget one part. Remember when Johnny went to Benny and he asked him again to lead the game, and Benny left. He had been threatening Kathy to leave all the time, so she was like, leave. She didn't think he was gonna leave, but he left. And so go ahead. Sorry.
But the same young guy that Johnny told him would never be in the game, he got a different chapter in a different city. And he came back, like I said, Johnny said is if you ever challenge him, if you got a disagreement, you can challenge him. So he challenged him. What Johnny said, we can do it by fists or knives. The young boy said knives. So the night came. Johnny told him where to meet him at. Johnny goes out there. The young guys come up. Johnny was out there with a couple of the other older vandals. And Johnny gets out. He tells them, "Y'all wait here. Let me go ahead and handle this." Johnny puts his knuckles on. He gets his knife ready. The young guy gets out and shoots Johnny right in the chest.
And the other vandals didn't do anything about it. And he just basically took over the club, even though it was an unfair fight. And Benny, in his journeys, heard about it. He ended up, he was very sad because Johnny was like a father to him. He ended up coming back, and him and Kathy ended up going to Florida, and he worked for his uncle, cousin, somebody. And you could see when you looked at him that he was thinking about riding, but they appeared to be happy. So it definitely was something. I hated the ending of that movie, but it makes you think about choices we make when it comes to loyalty and love. And at the end of the day, Benny had to decide what kind of man he wanted to be. And as we saw, that decision was not easy. So it's time to get down to it, James. What's your ranking for Bikeriders?
Bikeriders is the third best movie I saw in July.
And it is the third best movie that I saw as well. I thought it was a great movie. Had some language in it that definitely could have been left out, but I did think it was a great movie. Hey everyone, so now we have our review on the film Longlegs.
The worst, probably, maybe worst movie I ever saw.
I
Period.
don't know about that.
Movie sucked.
I don't know about that. Now,
Like
it's supposed to be a psychological horror film that dives deep into the world of satanic rituals, murder, suicides, and an FBI agent with some serious psychic abilities. But Longlegs was definitely interesting. It starred the young lady that she looks like she could be Dakota Fanning's older sister. So let me just let's run down the plot real quick, James, on Longlegs. So you ready? We're gonna run down this plot. The movie opens with the little girl noticing the creepy car outside her house.
which was Nicolas Cage.
And
Dressed up like a nut. Looked like a nut.
so now this is a spoiler alert. So
Nicolas Cage actually produced this movie too.
I can't believe it. So she goes to check it out. Now, naturally, if I see a creepy car outside my house, if I'm a little girl, I'm going to tell a parent. I'm not going to go check it out, but hey, anyway. So she sees a cloaked figure in the car and runs into the pale-faced man right behind the house. So that's how it starts out. Super crazy, right?
And then you skip ahead. Her name was Lee Harker. She was an FBI agent.
I don't.
And yeah.
I felt like her name was from the Civil War movie too. The lady's name was Lee.
But they being briefed on a situation. It was some serial killer that was out where they were actually looking for Longlegs, and they've been briefed. Her and her partner goes to a particular housing area and they profiling, and she had some type of ability. She was a great profiler where she can feel things, and they get to the housing area. The partner gets out to go to this one house, and she stays in the car. She's still looking around, and when he comes back, she's like, "Hey, he's in that house over there." And he was like, "What makes you say that?" She said, "I can just feel it. We need to call backup." And the guy was like, "No, we're not gonna call backup." And he goes to the door, he rings the doorbell, knocks on the door. The guy, you can hear him coming down the steps. He comes down, he opens the door and just shoots him right in the head. Wow! And he runs off, and that's basically the beginning of the movie. And she gets back to the station, and Blair Underwood is he's her cap, whatever, in the FBI.
He's our boss.
Yeah.
In the FBI, but basically, this Longlegs has been targeting families, and at the beginning of the movie, when her partner got killed, she actually had to run in and get the suspect. Now me, I don't know about that, because all these cookie cutter houses, everything looked alike, but she sensed that the killer was in there. She told her partner, but he didn't want to call because he was saying that they were new. And it's just a crazy movie. Basically, all the victims have the same birthday.
It's like some type of, the 14th.
And the 13th around that day.
Straight. He had the whole situation was he would bring a doll. Hey, Leah. Yeah. He'd bring this doll, and the doll like hypnotized the kids. And it would make, because the girl was like, she was telling her, she was looking at photos of the crime scenes, and she was like, it's like he wasn't even there. And the reason why he wasn't there, because it's like the doll, it was like a demon. It would hypnotize the kids and make the fathers kill the family. It was crazy.
Yeah, she basically he had like a orb inside of the doll that controlled the people, and it was just crazy how the movie tried to combine psychological horror with the paranormal. I just really didn't care too much for the movie. Don't want to spend too much time on it. But her mom, come to find out that she had made a deal with Longlegs to save her daughter's life. So she was the one who was actually delivering the dolls. And the bad thing about it is that at the end, she actually delivered the doll to her boss, Blair Underwood's family. And the doll ended up causing him to kill his wife. And I'm like, but when she ran up on that situation, why didn't you take your mom out right then? You knew what the plan was and the doll. But it was just a crazy movie to me. No. So Longlegs, and he was screaming and singing and
some crazy stuff. It was crazy.
Yeah, and it actually makes you question, what does he really believe when you watch this movie? I'm a big Nicolas Cage fan, but after this movie, I'm like that.
Yeah, it was great. So
that was number 6. No, number 5. I'm sorry. 5.
Definitely 5.
Yeah. So sorry, just didn't have any nice things to say about Longlegs. Hey everyone. So right now we're talking about Twisters. And this is one movie that really stormed its way into our hearts this month. It's not the classic 1996 film with the flying cows. This is a fresh take on storm chasing, and it has quite the whirlwind of a plot. Now, I love the original Twisters. I love Helen Hunt, Bill Paxton, may he rest in peace. I love that movie. I think it's a classic. Carrie Elwood, I think that's his name, that was in it too. Love, love, love that. So I was curious as to how, was this a remake? What was this? But Twister follows Kate Carter, a college student turned storm chaser, and it was a wild ride. We had tornadoes, intense drama, PTSD, a love story brewing in the middle of all that chaos.
Yeah, and Kate, along with the storm chasing friends, tried to launch an experimental solution into a tornado, hoping to reduce its strength. Things go wrong. Kate ends up losing all 3 of her friends in the EF5 tornado. 5 years later, she's working at a desk job in New York, gets drawn back into the world of storm chasing by her old friend Harvey. He's the guy from the last Transformers. To come up with another way of doing their experiment on the tornado.
And she runs into a new crew, and we have a famous storm chaser named Tyler. Now,
tornado wrangler.
Yes, I love him. He is charismatic. He's more than just a thrill seeker, though. He actually uses his fame, which we didn't know, and his merch to fund recovery efforts for towns hit by tornadoes. We didn't even know. We just thought he was a jerk.
Yeah, because we thought he was so flashy. He got had t-shirts of him on him.
T-shirts.
When he goes into a tornado, he shoots up rockets. They're up in the
and they are live streaming.
Yeah.
And this is a spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the movie, watch this later. But they are actually live streaming. And then they took an unknowing film
journalist from
France or somewhere. It with them, and he was scared to death. Now his truck, to be fair, had some type of equipment that would hold it down in the middle of a tornado. Yeah, right.
You know, that was just a movie.
But one thing I did love is how his character developed throughout the movie. You start thinking, I thought he was in it just for the glory, but he had some real depth.
Yeah, because with the search and stuff he did, he was giving back to the people who would lose their homes in tornadoes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He was helping them back.
Yeah, because we thought he was all about the Flash, but he really did care about.
Turned out Harvey was actually he would be
the devil, you know.
Yeah, he had good intentions, but he was working with this guy, this Texas guy that was buying up all the people's properties
that were damaged in the tornadoes.
Yeah.
So basically,
he wasn't helping them to rebuild them, and he was driving property up.
Yeah, and Kate's her character had to had a transformation, because that was one of the strongest points in the film. At the beginning, she lost all her friends due to an experiment that they thought that it was going to be like a F2 tornado. It turned out being an F5. So she doesn't want to go near a tornado again, but by the end, she's leading charge. She's risking her life to stop a massive tornado in El Reno.
They was in Oklahoma.
And that scene at the end was actually, crazy. But what I found most interesting is how her and Tyler's character developed. They didn't even have not one kiss scene or anything. She lost her boyfriend at the beginning of the film, so of course she wasn't looking for love. But how he went out with her at her mom's place, and they were able to work on her.
Because she showed him
her prototype for dissipate the
trying,
tornado or whatever.
And kill the intensity of the storm. Basically, try and make a tornado go away.
Yeah, and they ended up, working on this thing. They were at the hotel, and the tornado broke out, and they had to help save some people.
Rodeo. It was a rodeo.
The rodeo, and they had to run into a hotel, and all
she could see. She could look at the wind, how wind changes, it blows the field and stuff. What way she could tell how tornado would change direction and all that. She was good at what she did.
Yeah, and I loved Tyler and Kate's relationship. It was a nice touch too. It wasn't over the top with the romance. You could see the chemistry building throughout the film when they go on in that rodeo together, and it felt breathed and calm before everything blew up. I love that it was a family-friendly movie. I just felt like it was a great movie, and you didn't have to hide, close your eyes, kids, this and that. They had a love story, but you let your imagination do the work. But it was still a great movie, because I loved Tyler's character, because at first you think this is a jerk, but it turns out he really wasn't. So.
And they did use her equipment. She finally used that equipment. It actually did, because they got trapped in the movie theater.
Yeah.
At the end, and she ran out, got in Tyler's truck, and drove right out there to that tornado to try and, because it was so many people in the movie theater, and she let off her what she had made, and it made that tornado intensity drop, and it dissipated.
Yeah, and I like that there were layers of corporate greed, like with Riggs, the guy that you talked about, the moral dilemma. Javi, he wasn't really a bad guy, but just with inflation, things can go wrong. There was a lot going on, and I like how the movie balanced the science with the personal stories. And Kate had an internal struggle, but she overcame it. She saved everyone. And Javi's moral conflict playing all in the midst of the crazy, larger-than-life tornadoes. But at the end, he came around as well. So, what did you rank Twister, James?
It's the second best movie I saw in July.
I had to say that it was the first, because I like a movie that the whole family can see, that doesn't have inappropriate language, inappropriate scenes. So I'm all about the family, and I love that movie.
If the movie is great or not. If it's great movie, I'm gonna go with the great movie.
So that's how we ranked Twisters.
Like the next one.
Hey guys, next up we have our movie review for.
We saved the best for last.
We have the movie review for Deadpool and Wolverine, and we have a special guest, our son Keshon. So we have two of the most iconic characters from the X-Men universe finally sharing the screen in Deadpool and Wolverine. And this movie had my family hyped up for months. They say it did not disappoint them. It was packed with action, humor, multiverse madness, and plenty of surprises along the way. And if you're a fan of Deadpool's sarcastic wit or Wolverine's nasty, gruff attitude, Deadpool's nasty mouth, trust me, this movie delivers. But let's break down the plot.
It was I ain't gonna lie, this is the best movie I saw this year. And if you ain't seen it, you need to see it. What do you think?
It was a pretty good movie. I
Yeah.
ain't gonna lie.
Yeah,
I love
it
the movie. It was my favorite movie this year.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
The movie had a whole lot of cursing in it.
Action. It was hilarious. And it was
So-
action packed.
My friend Ellie, I heard her ask something on Facebook, or I read that she asked something on Facebook. But basically, this movie is kicking off in 2018 when Deadpool, or Wade Wilson, used Cable's time traveling device to
Yeah.
hop over to the main Marvel universe, Earth 616. He tries to join the Avengers, but Happy Hogan shuts him down. Fast forward 6 years, and Wade has retired from being Deadpool. He's working as a used car salesman after his breakup with Vanessa. But Wade doesn't stay retired for long.
Because Wade is having a party. He was having a party with his friends, Colossus and Dough Bigger and the big guy from the bar and his girlfriend. Well, at
No.
the time they weren't going
They
together.
were broke up, him
Yeah.
and Vanessa.
And Vanessa. But the TVA,
What does it
knocks
stand
at the
for?
door. Time Variance Authority.
I didn't even know.
Yeah. Where actually the movie comes on with Wade at Logan's grave.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where he died in Logan. And he's trying to wake him up. Well, he's going back. He went back in time then too to try and find another Logan. But he and you know, it was just crazy. And the TVA shows up on the scene and he just pounds him by dancing to
Bye, bye, bye.
NSYNC,
Bye,
yeah.
bye.
But the whole thing is though, the TVA shows up at his door. They brings him back in to the TVA, and it's a guy named Paradox who wants to basically just prune his universe, kill off Deadpool's universe, and he would make him have a chance to be in the universe with the Avengers and stuff like that. But yeah, Deadpool won't go for that.
And basically, Deadpool had went to the multiverse hoping to find a mission. He was on a mission to find a variation of Logan to save the timeline.
Because he thought that he was the what was the word he called it for the
He thought he was the he thought he was the savior of the universe.
Yeah.
He had the secret timeline.
yeah, it was a word they had for it. Yeah, the
He's the
what was it?
authority.
Something bad. But he thought he was, but the dude laughed at it and said, imagine if you were the guy that was. No, we were talking about Logan.
Oh, he was talking about. It's like whenever
To his universe.
he was a character, or he was the whatever character,
Main character.
not a main character.
Like
he
something to the universe. If he dies off, that
Yeah.
The whole timeline.
yeah, it's done.
and what's the guy's name? He was laughing at him because he said, "Oh, you
Yeah.
thought that you was the you
Yeah.
thought that you were the no," and he was talking about Logan.
Yeah.
He was referring to Logan
And, you know, Deadpool
as
didn't
being
like that.
the
He felt like he was showing him up again. So he had a plan. He said, "Yeah, I show you thing, but right now I'm gonna break your nose and take it and go back in time." And so he went back to find a variant of Logan. He kept going and he finds one in a bar, and it was the comic book accuracy of Logan. He was like a little guy. He made fun of him. And all that. He goes back. He's finding different Logans. Finds the Logan in the brown suit that fought the Hulk. And he was saying he was Marvel Genius. I'm Marvel Genius. Yeah. And Hulk smashes him. And he goes and he finds the what they call him, Henry Cavill, the cavalry or something like that. And he kills him, and then he finally goes to this bar, and he finds a Logan sitting at the bar, and he goes up to him and tells him
The
that,
worst slogan.
yeah, he's supposed to be the worst Logan. And
Because the bartender said something to him, and he said, "I know you're not gonna take that."
Yeah.
And he said, "Yeah, actually, I
I
am."
am. And he gets up and he he says him to wait. Logan tells him to wait. Drinks a whole bottle. What was he drinking? Was it I don't know what he was drinking.
Some type of alcohol.
And then he falls out. So he carries him back to the Paradise. And they laugh at him because they say, well, you just brought back the worst Logan of all. We would never went and got this Logan. But once again, he gets pruned. They prunes him to the void, and
Johnny.
Wolverine too. So they're in the void now, and they
start fighting.
yeah, they fight. And the big Wolverine Deadpool fights, and and you know Deadpool talking to the fifth or third person, like yeah.
And then they finally get stopped by the Human Torch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he thought it was
Captain
America.
He played both. That was
Yeah.
the joke.
Cause they come driving up like look like a scene from Road Warrior.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or
Mad Max.
Mad Max. So they come up and
that's when Wolverine killed
Sabretooth. Sabretooth came out there.
Mm-hmm. And all the old X-Men villains was with him.
Yeah.
And then they had a big magnet that magnetized Deadpool.
But before they started fighting, that's when he jumped down and he was like, "Oh man, he's gonna say it. He's gonna say it." He thought it was Captain America. But he talking about flame on. He said flame on. He goes up and gets punished. He gets punished out there.
And they're like,
by Pyro Dogs.
we don't know him.
Yeah, but they take him back. They take Wolverine, Captain Wolverine, and all them. They take him back to Cassandra Nova, which is Professor X's sister, twin sister. And Deadpool starts telling them
all this stuff that
everything
Johnny
that Johnny
said.
Storm said. And she's
Supposedly.
like, oh, really?
Supposedly.
Oh, really? And so she just skins him, basically skins him to the bone, and he just falls dead. And Wolverine's like, man, you just got him killed. You just got him killed. And
that kid's Johnny killed.
Talk about a kid. He's 50.
He's calling him a kid. He said, you calling him a kid? He's 50 years old. He's like 50 years old.
But they after get out of there, cause old girl was about to kill him. She
brought the big thing from Loki.
Yeah, she brought that out there. So they had Wolverine jumps on some type of little flying thing, and they fly out further into the void.
Where they find this ugly dog.
The worst, the
ugliest dog alive.
And another happy pool.
Yeah, and another variant of Deadpool. And
this version, as you find out later in the movie, can't regenerate.
yeah. But if they talking, they figure out if they can get back to the void, they can get a way back to the
regular universe.
Yeah. But
to save it,
what's name gives them a car, and on their way going back, these boys get in another fight, and they just fighting to one of the theme music from Greece.
Because they figure out that Deadpool told a story to Wolverine
that he can get it back to his universe.
Yeah. That he could undo what he did.
Which Deadpool called it a what?
Educated wish.
Educated wish. So
I didn't lie. I called it an educated wish.
So they start fighting.
They fighting from sun up to sun down.
Deadpool is strapped in all the seatbelts in the car, and Wolverine's laid out. Somebody comes up and takes them away.
Who we later find out was X-23.
It was X-23.
And they take him into this cave where they meet.
Blade.
They think first they see Elektra.
Yeah.
And they thought she was
He told me, Deadpool told me, wait a minute, are you what you about to say Wonder Woman?
Yeah. And then he said, I'm sorry about what happened to Ben Affleck's character. But she was like, don't worry about it. And then we have a Gambit.
No, Blade comes out.
Blade, and he said, I thought you was retired. And
he said, retarded.
He said, I'm not trying to get canceled again. And then
Channing Tatum comes out and he can't understand what he's saying.
And Deadpool was like, who is your dialect coach? But that boy was bad with those cards though. And Wolverine, unfortunately, he was an alcoholic. This version of Wolverine was alcoholic, and he was drinking up all the liquor. And Gambit told him about it, and he was like, "It's a good thing I don't care." So Gambit threw the card and broke the bottle of liquor.
But all things short, though, they all convinced that they're gonna go back to Cassandra Nova and kill them so they can get back to
their universe.
And as they go in there, Wolverine is saying he's not going back. He wasn't, but X-23 was telling him the Wolverine I knew, he didn't always do things right either. But he ended up doing it. So they in the car, they driving toward the Cassandra Nova's place in the void, and they get there. When they get out of the car, everybody's standing around. Wolverine gets out the hatchback, so he didn't come with him. But the word going around is when Gambit says, "Woo, woo! I'm about to make a name for myself today." They go right about me, and you tell me back. Yeah, the Gambit's part was crazy, but the action that scene was ridiculous too.
Yeah.
Great action throughout.
Yeah, ridiculous. But they end up. The whole thing was they knew they had to get
the
Juggernaut's helmet off to put on Cassandra Nova. The blocker, yeah, so she couldn't, what's the name? And X-23 gets it off, and they get it on Cassandra Nova's head.
Yeah.
Which
they later find out the way that Cassandra Nova can get out of the void is because she killed the Sorcerer Supreme herself.
Yeah.
Which
what ended up being
they can make portals and stuff. You said which ended up being
the Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange.
Because she was killing everybody. Every time they would ask him about who she did, dead. What did they say? She ain't no joke. Brad said she ain't no joke.
She don't play.
And so they do get Cassandra Nova to let they go. But her plan was to come back. She was going to come also to the universe, which she did. She come, and so did the whole Deadpool Corps.
All the what were they called?
The Deadpool
Corps.
All of them came.
And they are very bad dudes that you don't want to mess with.
From Lady Deadpool to the Cowboy Deadpool to the little floating head Deadpool.
To Baby Deadpool.
To Baby Deadpool.
And they are some nasty
to Peter Deadpool.
To Peter Deadpool. They looked up to Peter though. But that was the ultimate fighting scene right there, because the happy Deadpool comes running out. Like you said, that's when they figure out he didn't regenerate, because Deadpool
and the dog
put him in the line of fire.
Yeah, and used him as basically a shield.
And took his dog.
Yeah, told him you're gonna be okay. Say you're gonna be okay. You're not gonna die.
That's when we learned out that the TVA and this guy Paradox trapped Cassandra Nova into the void.
Yeah.
She was too powerful.
Yeah.
So she ended up coming out of the void and getting her payback on Paradox.
Yeah. But then we had the ultimate after that, the happy Deadpool was getting lit up, and he's over there. Wolverine grabs dog food. Walks across, and nobody wants to shoot him because of dog food.
Everybody, all the Deadpools is in on.
And they love Deadpool. They love dog food. They get over there, and the first scene we ever seen with Wolverine with the mask on. He puts the mask on, and they go to work fighting to.
Of course, Deadpool had to say something smart, because he said he was jealous, so he had to say something smart with his little smart mouth.
But they fought him to, what was the name of the song from Madonna?
Like a prayer. Like a prayer.
And that was a crazy fight scene too. Like I said, this movie, the best movie I've seen Oh yeah, one of the best movies I ever seen. Period. But they had to get Cassandra Nova, and she got to the what they call it, the time ripper. The time ripper, and she was using that to what she was planning on doing was killing all the universes, and only universe was gonna be left was the Void.
The Void.
But she got the time ripper, and of course Wolverine, Deadpool was trying to stop it, and Wolverine joined them. And when you got two mutants that can
regenerate,
because
listen to like a prayer.
Yeah, they use their own bodies to disrupt the power flow, and while they should have died, they somehow survived. Typical Wade and Logan, always defying the odds.
Yeah, but this, like I say, this is the best movie I saw this year. Definitely the best movie I saw in July, and one of the best movies I've seen too.
Well, we loved how after all the chaos, Logan, which Deadpool said that Disney was going to make him play that till he was 90, was finally allowed to retire and live a peaceful life in Wade's timeline, Earth. What is that, 10,005?
2005.
It's like a nice nod to the Wolverine we saw in Logan, a tired, battle-weary man who just wants some peace. And Wade gets some closure too. He reconciles with Vanessa, which was a sweet moment in the middle of an insanity. Plus, Wade showed Logan and Laura, aka X-23, around his world, and it was a heartwarming scene. Aaliyah, so what did you think about it, Keshon?
I think the movie is a great movie, a great way to introduce Deadpool into the MCU, in a great way to bring Wolverine into more X-Men movies, more MCU movies if you like to see that. So it was a great start, and I'm just happy to see where the X-Men goes in this universe.
Yeah.
And what did you think, James?
I told you, it was the best movie I saw this year. Probably be one of the best movies I've seen, period. Definitely the best movie I've seen in July. And you had a what?
I thought that it had a lot of inappropriate language in it, but this is typical for Deadpool and Wolverine. I thought it was a good movie. I gave it a number 2.
Say what?
It had a lot of inappropriate language, especially with the child. I felt like that was a lot, but if you can get past the language, I gave it. I said it was the second best movie that we saw this month. I can't go that far because I have to rate the curse words and all of those other things that I'm not a fan of. So I really didn't think that this was a family-friendly movie, but we did see it as a family because they wanted to. So it was my second pick for the month of July. It was his first pick and Keshon's first pick, but it was my second pick. So, and yes, but he loved the movie.
Yeah.
And it was Aaliyah's, if she could pick, she would say that if she was old enough to watch it, she would like it too.
Okay, well, that's all the movies we had for July. And if you like, tell me.
Make sure if you like this video, if you like the video that we have a 3-year-old trying to get our attention right now in the middle of, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. Let us know what you thought about Deadpool and Wolverine. What was your favorite movie for the month of July? What was your least favorite movie? Did you see Longlegs? What did you think about it? Let us know. Thank you. Take care. Have a great day.